Welcome to a new tour to my garden. This is a Zone 5A garden in the Midwest. This is mid-August 2023 and I've been away for a week um, from the garden, so I am touring it with you and checking to see what happened during my time away. I set an irrigation system at the beginning of summer, so watering is taken care of, but no maintenance or harvest while I'm gone. So I'm checking for disease, what need to be done. This side, this is the north, so this side does not get a lot of sun. Also, um, the the soil is not great. I amended a little bit, but deep down it's all clay, just like all suburban areas here. The builders remove the good soil and replace it with clay. So probably have a couple inches of compost on top of that, but that's it. So the tomatoes here are diseased. I see blight, but they're still bearing, but they don't compare to the other side where I have good soil. This variety is also dying, but I'm not gonna use it again. This is berry tomatoes and they don't taste well. But I have one brandy wine there. Something's eating it, but I'm excited. They're really good, and it's my first time with them. The strawberries are getting a disease. I think that's kind of fungal disease. We've been getting a lot of rain here lately, and that also contributes to all the diseases. The okra is finally starting to get tall, but it's not a good place for it. I need to put it in more sun, but I don't have a lot of sun here. The beans, those purple noodle beans, are finally picking up. You can see how tall they can get. Flavor-wise, they're good. They're not the best I've tasted, but they're really pretty. So I might plant them again. It just depends on if I have enough space. The here in the inside there are a green variety, and it's not as productive. And I had really hard time germinating all of them compared to other varieties. But the purple really helps in seeing them, so I know when to harvest. This variety here is the Munto Gusto, and you can see how tall it got, and compared to these, they don't have a lot of leaves compared to it. And also, again, the germination rate was lower compared to this one. What's going on? That's the sunflower, the teddy bear. I have a lot of corn beetles this year and they're annihilating them. I've heard that many people it's really bad in the Midwest this year, that corn beetle. What else is here? The cosmos is really getting tall. That's my first year with tall cosmos. I'm gonna do it again. And the cucumbers are still producing, although with all that rain, I'm getting more and more leaf spot and disease, but I'm still getting, and they're getting tall. A lot of the blossoms have died with the heat wave that we got last week. I'm hoping they continue to produce. That's that's the bait alpha, and since I wasn't here, I have not harvested them the right size. The daisy's done, but the bee balm, the spotted bee balm here, so pretty. They have a lot of black wasps on them. They like them. And I've been getting caterpillars, monarch caterpillars on this is swamp milkweed. It's not like the pink variety, but this one likes the water, and I have a lot of water here compacted in the soil. This is my squash. I think it's finally done getting bigger, but I'm only getting one squash per vine, and I only have one vine, so that's it. It's not going to produce anything else. And the hibiscus is done producing. It's going to flower again in the fall, so now it's going to take a rest, a break. Oh, here are the black wasps. My compost tomato, the one that I don't know what variety it is, it's a kind of cherry tomato, and it's starting to produce. So I'm excited to try it, but it is huge. That's just one plant that escaped from the opening in the compost. Here's the perennial, the bed for the grapes, and I've covered them because everybody wants to eat them, the robins and the raccoon, but they tasted really good. That's Somerset variety, and it tastes sweet with hints of, I don't know, tropical things, strawberry, but it's really good. And then for the trees, that's my birch. It's getting taller, and I was hoping that the peach would get taller this year. It did not, and I only allowed it to bear 2 fruit. They were really big and really good, contender. They tasted really good. So I'm hoping next year maybe it get taller, and I would allow it to bear more fruit. I think it's 3 years old now. Going here to this bed, still doing well with the chard. The cucumber, the bait alpha, is still producing, but they're really sick. It's in the shade. But my other cucumber, the Japanese sweet, is really going everywhere. It's climbing on all the trees. It's out of space, so it's just climbing everywhere. You can see it up in the tree. Can't really see where it is, but it's very, very high. I can't reach it. But I can reach some of the fruits if they are lower, like here. And again, it climbed on the pine from here, from this side. So I really have to go and try to get them. This side of the bed is not doing anything. Half of that bed, it's in complete shade. And I don't know what to do with it. If I try to seed it with like greens now, they will not grow because we get hot spells. And then also the roly-polies are gonna eat them up at this time of the year. So it just sits doing nothing. Here you can see more of the cucumbers, and things here are really shaded because of the growth and the tree as well. So yeah, I have a mix of tomatoes and cucumbers that are struggling to get some light. So they completely covered the chard. It doesn't seem to mind that much, but it's not growing as big as it used to. So I'm still getting some chard, but not as much. This is the cucumber. This is called spring variety, and it's good. And then I have mostly here small cherry tomatoes, small sized tomatoes, because they don't mind the part shade as much. That's the parsley, and it's also not minding the part shade. It's fine with that. But the chamomile is dying. It likes the sun, absolutely. More sprouting cucumber and tomatoes. And the tomatoes, I tried to, well, they need some tying. I tried to tie them before I leave, but they are going everywhere. And this is a 9 feet trellis. And if I had, I think 12 feet, they would climb that still. I did not prune them to single stem completely. I just did that in the beginning, and then I let them do some branching, because otherwise they would get too tall for the trellis. Again, this is my first time getting that much tomato, that tall tomato, because this year I was really good at watering, especially when I wasn't home. So they loved it. This side is mostly beans. The tomatoes here, again, all my tomatoes are the same age, same varieties, but depending on where I plant, like these ones here, they don't like the soil, but and they're not getting a lot of sun, while these are like trees. And the previous side, the north side, they're not really doing much. It's all the location and soil. They're all getting a lot of good water, but soil is the most important thing. So here I have the purple varieties of beans. They're not as productive, but they're easy to see. And here I have the ground cherries. They produced a lot. You can see them on the ground everywhere. I have to pick them up when they fall to the ground. They're really sweet and taste like pineapples. The figs, the Chicago fig, has grown so tall this year. Again, with all the water, they usually grow to like this tall, but now this. They have some figs on them, mainly this tree, but it's not growing. It's just tiny, and just a couple branches are bearing. I don't think it's worth the prime location these two trees are taking. So I'll see what to do with them next year, because we're only getting like, what, we might get 10 figs for all that. And here the zinnias are happy and brightening that location, but I'm not getting a lot of peppers because they are suffocating the peppers. Oh, here, this you could see the purple variety of the beans. That's a perfect size to pick them up. And here the cosmos is very happy. That's a new location for it this year. Really bright. The flowers on the stairs are okay, but they're not at their best. I haven't been maintaining them. Like the dahlias stopped producing. They have disease on them. And not sure what happened to the snapdragons there. They're not very happy as well. It's their worst year, I think. But my Japanese anemone here is going to flower for the first time this year. I'm so excited. I have not seen it before. I just bought it from a catalog. and this is supposed to be not invasive. I have the basil here. The purple basil is doing okay, but not as good as last year. And then this grape, I think it's ready to be eaten, although the robins have been very interested. This is himrod, and it's supposed to be seedless, but it has seeds, so we don't care that much for it. Just use it mostly for ornamental reasons, but it's very sensitive to like, see the leaves, very sensitive to herbicidal drifts. So then here I have flowers. The roses are doing good. Coneflower. The calendula is miserable this year because of all the bugs. I have I think some kind of invasive moth that has been eating them all with the caterpillars. And that's the new grape that I put this year, and it seems to be happy. That's good news, instead of the one that died. And the honeysuckle still producing some flowers. In the front yard on the side, the salvia is so happy this year, and it took over the daisies, which I don't mind. It's more beautiful. And next to it, this is the best year for the hydrangea. It's even falling apart, and not falling down. That's the first time this happened because of the big blooms. They're turning pink, which means we have more, I think, acidity in the soil. But yeah. Here the roses are still doing well, and then I came back home to see our surprise lilies. These are very special lilies. They usually have green leaves in the spring. They kind of look like daffodils, the leaves, and then they die off completely, and then now at the beginning of August they just come out of the ground and flower like this, and they smell really good. And here I have the sedum. I think that's coral sedum, and it's also flowering. So a lot of bees here. They're happy with all this variety. And I think this is also called coral roses, and they smell so good. They're not as hardy for disease like the knockout. These are the knockout. So they need some maintenance, and but they smell so nice. So I have a mix of knockouts and corals here. And then I've been trying to plant more strawberries in the front yard. I have some seedlings inside. Oh, this one broken off. Probably because of the rain. And then here, these are still producing. I'm gonna have a video where I talk about all the different varieties of perennials and annuals that I have, especially now that we're done traveling, so I'm gonna have more time that you can see again. So pretty. And the Carapaces is also flowering. That's its first year, and it's done amazing. Really bright colors. And the pears did really nothing, the pear trees. Now on the other side, the trees, the fruit trees, the apricot has grown, I think, 10 feet. I pruned it in the spring so that it's like about 8 feet tall, and now it's probably 16 or more, 20. And I'm gonna prune it again very hard next spring. Same with the peach. The peach did amazing this year. It bore so many, probably 200 fruit. This is its 4th year. It grew so much, but I did not do a great job thinning the fruit, so you could see a lot of the branches are almost touching the ground even after we picked everything up. Or we and the thieves, because we got raided by thieves at night, who picked all the fruit from the bottom branches, like 4 bags full, and it's just very, very sad. And this is supposed to be a safe neighborhood. I think people are just rotten. So, and they broke branches, and the fruit they got, they were not ripe, not nearly, so they probably just tossed them in the trash. So that is sad, but we picked some of the other fruit that were ripening, and the strawberries here are okay, but they're completely shaded, so we're not getting a lot, but it's just better than leaving it empty. So that's it for August, and hopefully I will post other videos of the different varieties and what I think of them. Thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.